Hey, hey. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. Actually, this is always funny to me, but you're not sitting there with a bunch of people, so everyone always opens their videos with, hey guys. But obviously, you're just sitting there by yourself in front of your phone or your computer. So, hello to you. How are you doing? I got a couple of questions on my Instagram, and so I'm going to go through them rapid fire style, okay? So the first one is, we're just going to dive right into this. If this stuff is helpful, the way that I presented, the information that I share, which is always about simplicity and effectiveness, and from a perspective of somebody who's not naturally gifted and has accomplished some pretty cool things, like this and comment and subscribe and share, okay? All right. If I stay in a calorie deficit and don't hit my protein, is it going to affect fat loss? So if you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose fat. You will lose weight, okay? Why would you be concerned? I always like to ask clarifying questions. So my first question is, right, why would I be concerned about hitting protein? Hitting a protein target? We'll say what's appropriate is like, or what a lot of people aim for is like 1 gram per pound. And then on a lower end, it's also, I've seen it's okay to be, 7.5 grams per pound, whatever. Point is, you got a target. So if I don't hit my target, but I stay in my deficit, will it affect fat loss? So the assumption for this is I want to have enough protein so that when I lose fat, I don't lose muscle. I want to keep muscle because muscle is what's going to make me look sexy, because muscle has shape, right? You don't just want to be a straight line. So to answer this question, is it going to affect fat loss? Well, since our goal with this is to keep muscle, you got to remember, what are the two things that are going to keep muscle on you? One is going to be having enough protein, but I think the even more important piece of the puzzle is doing the stuff that builds and keeps muscle in the first place, which is lifting, okay? Or strength training, whatever. And so these two things are important while you're in a deficit so you don't lose muscle. But if you're not lifting weights, what's going to happen to you is, or you're not doing strength training of some kind, where basically if you're not using your muscles are probably going to be the first thing to go, okay? So this is where we end up with skinny fat, soft people, noodle bodies. So not being, like, losing weight is not the goal. Looking good and feeling good and like being like vigorous and virile and strong is the goal, right? Powerful. And so short answer, I said it would be a short answer. Short answer is that you'll keep losing weight. First thing, if you're really not training, then you may lose your muscle along with your fat. So if that's okay with you, then that's fine. If that's not okay with you, which I'm assuming if you're listening to me or watching my content, then that's not okay with you. So then you want to make sure you hit this, and then you want to make sure you strength train, okay? But that question by itself, like, is not helpful without all of that context. Then the last thing I will say, best thing I will say is, let's say, you hit your protein target, like you're always in a calorie deficit, but you hit your protein target most of the time, and let's say, like, every so often you're a little bit under, or 10 grams under, 20 grams under, 30 grams under on occasion. Like, it's not something to freak out about. So, actually, like, there's never anything to freak out about. So hopefully that answers that. Fill that guy in, cross it out. If you have any follow-up questions about that, let me know. Next question we got wasn't really a question, it was a heart. So hearts, fantastic. We're not going to cross it out. We're just going to fill it in, okay? There we go. Then we got a question from one of my clients in India. Devika, shout out to you. First question, by the way, was, I believe, from Raman. Okay. So shots for breakfast are okay, right? So in her MyFitnessPal, I was going through it, and for one of the breakfasts, one of the days in her journal, there was a shot. So I was laughing because I'm like, all right, well, hopefully we're not having shots for breakfast. But I think she said that she had just put it in breakfast, but she had it later. I'm sure. Just kidding, Devika. I'm sure that's what you did. So, but anyway, to answer the question, I'm going to take this inside joke and I'm going to answer it seriously. Is it okay? Of course it's okay. Should you take shots? I don't think so. I don't think that's conducive to you building the body that you want and the type of person that you want. I want to be all about vigorous, virile, powerful, strong. So that doesn't mean you can't have a shot. It's just, I mean, you're having multiple shots. How frequently? Like, yeah, if you have a shot once in a while or a drink once in a while, that's cool, right? And especially if you track the calories for it. And so with calories, another thing to remember is, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you eat your calories in the morning, at night, 5 times throughout the day, 1 time, 3 times. What matters is the total amount of calories, right? As far as fat loss is concerned. So hopefully that answers that. And by the way, Devika, you're doing a fantastic job. Your understanding is getting so much deeper, and that's really the key, right? I'm really excited for what's about to happen for you. Next, who is my favorite author? Who is my favorite author? Let's see. I would have to say that my favorite author is... there's a bunch of people. I'm just going to say a couple of names because I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm my own favorite author. So there's that. I like what I create. So in business, I really like Dan Kennedy. As always, you don't have to take everything from everybody. Like, you take what's useful and you leave what's not. So Dan Kennedy is somebody that's influenced me a lot. Neville Goddard in the realm of spirituality and manifestation and that and just personal development. Who else? I'm drawing a blank. Let me just see. I do have actually let's see. I mean, I have all my books up there. I got a bunch of books down there. We just got books all over the place. Let's see if I can. Dan John, as far as fitness stuff goes, fitness, I love Dan John. I love Pavel also for fitness. Let's see, anything else? Anything else comes to mind? Dr. Seuss, I love Dr. Seuss. I love Roald Dahl. I love... Oh, how could I forget? J.K. Rowling, of course. J.R.R. Tolkien. Those are my favorite authors. That's all I can think of at this moment. I'm sure there's others. I read a lot. So that's that. Interesting question. Also, I don't think this was from a real person. I think this was from a bot. So that was most likely spam because it didn't have anything to do with my post. So anyways, can I keep eating Taco Bell? Fantastic question. I think this one comes from the username Not to Offend. Can I keep eating Taco Bell? Yeah, of course. Next. Just kidding. I'm assuming this was partially a joke, but if you're talking about can you eat Taco Bell and lose fat, obviously the answer is yes. Do I want to do that? No. I don't think Taco Bell's that good. You know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I think Taco Bell is fucking trash. It's not good. And I'm sorry, even my wife likes Taco Bell. Well, she likes the one particular thing there, the Mexican pizza, but It's whack. I would much rather use those calories for In-N-Out or even McDonald's. They got the Little Mac out right now. That's a Big Mac, but it's a single stack. They also got the Grand Mac out. But yeah, so keep eating your trash Taco Bell. This is a great question. Avoiding back pain while deadlifting. Okay, so now this question right here is probably worthy of its own video. And not probably, it is worthy of its own video. And this actually is what got me into strength and conditioning and lifting weights and all that. Because back in the day, if you don't know this part of my story, is I played basketball my whole life. I made my body do things that structurally it could not do. The analogy I like to use is that I pushed my body as if it's like if you have a Ferrari engine but you put it inside of a Prius frame. That's what I kind of tried to do, because every human being is strong and you can really push yourself, but that doesn't mean the physical frame that you are can handle that abuse. So what I had to learn was how to upgrade from that Prius body to the frame of a Ferrari or a jet, right? So that then that jet engine could really like do stuff. Because if you try to push that Ferrari engine in the Prius frame is gonna break. Like it's gonna fall apart. So that's what happened to me, and I had extreme back pain. And so how do you, and then to where I am now, like from learning and going deep into this stuff, like we went deep into this stuff over the last 15 years. Like I've deadlifted, 500, deadlifted, and I weigh 155 most of the time, 150 to 155. I've deadlifted 405 like cold without a warm up, like that's a regular thing. I've deadlifted 425 cold. So there's no more, and I feel stronger and more robust and resilient and like powerful and vigorous and virile than ever before. And long story short, that was a medium story. But my point with that was you can totally do that. Now, my first piece of advice with this, and I have tons of videos over the years talking about this. So if you go on my YouTube and search it, you probably find it. But I would say first go find a competent coach. Like the reason you're having pain while deadlifting or anything is your form and technique is not right. So you have to have somebody watch you, okay? It's really hard to just say, yeah, go do this and this. I mean, I could say that, but a better thing, if I'm in your shoes, let me go find somebody to just teach me and watch me, right? And there's so many great strength coaches. You can message me, like I coach people on this all the time. So the big thing here, okay, is understanding pain. Why is it happening? And then understanding back pain, like what do I need to do to get it to go away? All right. And there's a bunch of moving parts in there, pun intended. So I'll probably end up making a different video. But the short story of this is make sure your form and technique is on point. How can you do that? Get a coach. All right. Like I said, I'm more than happy. Send me an email. Okay, my email is in the description box. You can find me on Instagram. Like at the very least, like you can say if we don't do like a monthly coaching thing, like send me your form videos. Like I check people's form on an ongoing basis. So I'm more than happy to do that as well. And so, there's, and you know what? I will make that video and I will refresh that video. I'll probably put it in the description box, find a couple of videos that I've made talking about this. So, some things are obviously like if your back is rounded and you keep deadlifting, you're going to have pain, right? If you can't keep a flat back while your hips are moving, you're going to have pain. if you can't brace, bracing is probably the most important piece in deadlift safety, okay? In any big lift, squat, deadlift, press, overhead press. If you can't create stiffness in your trunk, you're going to have pain. So learning how to have stiffness in your trunk is the most valuable thing you could learn. The way that we do that is we go, you fill your belly with air, so now there's no movement possible, right? And then holding that stiffness, right, you perform your lift. So like I said, this is a deeper topic. Those are some like high level points, and I'll link these videos in the thing. And get a coach. Or be like me and spend 8 years trying to figure it out on your own. 10 years. If I ruled a country, what law would I introduce first? So this also, I'm pretty sure that this was a bot as well. Because again, it had nothing to do with what I was talking about. But if I ruled a country, what law would I introduce first? I wouldn't. Like, mind your own, I don't care. What I'm most concerned about is what I am in control of, which is my attitude and my perception and my awareness. So I don't care about what law to introduce. Now, what this to kind of answer this question, I'll be like, I would say the same thing for everybody else, is like really focus on cultivating your own awareness and choosing your stance and your perception on things versus allowing it to be chosen for you by circumstance and external things, right? So choosing to focus on how I can continue to build my body and get better at eating and nutrition and training better and getting coached in form and technique versus one thing that I used to do back in the day is like, oh, I can't gain muscle because XYZ, or I can't do this because of this, or right now I'm busy so I'm not going to do that. Like, you focus inward and you choose what you want to do, because all of the excuses or roadblocks that we put up or valid reasons that we put up, they are true as long as we believe they are. So that's kind of my other one. And then another one, if I'm going to indulge this person in their question a little bit, is everybody would be jacked and everybody would be reading and everybody would track calories and everybody would eat In-N-Out and donuts and Oreos and be shredded and understand. Everybody would be taking mandatory nutrition classes led by me, the Guavfather, aka Guavandre 3000, aka the little burrito boy. So that would be the first thing I would introduce. But anyways, hope that was helpful. And thank you for sending me questions. Send me your questions on Instagram. I will answer them. And in the comments, let me know if you made it this far. Please like and comment and share. And if you rule the country, what would you introduce? And what law would you introduce first? And who is your favorite author? So pick one of those two questions, answer them. Thank you. I appreciate these questions. I'll see you guys next time.